Welcome to Deep Roots, Open Skies, a podcast dedicated to exploring the defining moments that shape our lives. I'm your host, Lakisa. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Welcome to Deep Roots, Open Skies, where the sky's the limit and roots run deep. I'm your host, Lakisa, here to bring you stories that make you laugh, think, and maybe even reconsider your dating profile. Today's episode is as juicy as they come, so grab your favorite beverage, sit back, and let's dive in. So think of this. You're swiping through dating profiles, sipping your latte, when bam, you stumble upon a profile that reads more like an invoice than a love connection. Our mysterious lady isn't asking for moonlight walks or deep conversations. No, she's got a list, a very detailed list of expenses she expects her future beau to cover. We're talking $3,400 in rent, new school clothes for her kids, and even a $300 beauty budget. Oh, and let's not forget the personal allowance she wants. Now, before you do a double take or spit out your drink in shock, let's unpack this. Is this a case of modern-day gold digging, or is she just putting it all out there? Is honesty the best policy, or is this just a bit much? You see, recent studies suggest generational shifts in attitudes toward financial openness in dating. For instance, a survey by Talker Research for Chime indicates that younger generations like Gen Z and millennials find financial transparency attractive. They're seeking partners who can be open about money matters from the start. This trend, often called cash-candid dating, shows a move towards integrating financial discussions early in the dating process. This is different because back during my dating days, this is something I didn't discuss with my partners of interest. This shift reflects broader changes in how we view relationships and financial independence. Today, people are more willing to discuss finances early on because it aligns with a desire for transparency and equality. By having these conversations upfront, individuals can better understand their potential partner's financial values and goals, which can be crucial for long-term capability. However, introducing financial discussions so early can be a double-edged sword. Remember, it may provide clarity. It can also be daunting and sometimes over-putting. The risk is that it might create pressure to meet financial expectations or lead to judgments based solely on economic status, which can overshadow deeper emotional connections. They might think, she's just a gold digger. She even asked for a new car with insurance. But interestingly, this approach also challenges traditional dating norms where financial discussions were often deferred to later stages or put off later on in a dating period. It raises the question, are we prioritizing financial security over emotional intimacy? Or is this just a new dimension of modern relationships that reflects our current realities? This trend underscores the importance of communicating openly about all aspects of a relationship, not just the romantic ones. Yet it also invites us to consider how these discussions are framed, making sure they enhance rather than hinder the exploration of genuine connection. So let's dig deeper into what is considered acceptable to express in today's dating scene? Are there unwritten rules about laying out financial expectations? Or is it all about personal preference? Would you feel comfortable stating your needs so openly? And if not, why? Now, I'm not knocking someone's hustle, but I prefer a more organic approach. And this brings us to the heart of the matter. What are we really looking for when we enter the dating world? Are we seeking a partner to share life's burdens with, or someone to take them all away? Can we be upfront about wanting security without being labeled negatively? The boundaries of what's acceptable are constantly being redefined. For some, this level of transparency might be refreshing, a no-nonsense approach to finding someone who aligns with their lifestyle and values. But for others, it could feel like a transaction rather than the beginning of a relationship built on mutual respect and care. So it can be overwhelming. So where do we draw the line? Is it acceptable to have financial expectations from the start, or does it risk overshadowing the potential for genuine connection? How do we communicate what we need in a way that is both honest and respectful? Because you don't want to wait till you're not able to discuss it. Because at the same time, you want to let him know what he's coming in, what is going on, so there won't be any fakeness or false perceptions. Do understand, however you decide to do it, it will be a complex conversation, and the answers might differ for everyone. Whether you're on board with this approach or find it off-putting, it's clear that these discussions are shaping the future of dating. So, would you do the same, or do you believe in a different path to partnership? I love to hear how you navigate these waters, and we can revisit this. But consider this, because I know what you're thinking. Is this why some men are opting out of the dating game altogether? They want to get out? Are women like our viral sensation pushing them away with their sky-high expectations? Like one of my previous episodes, number 28, where we discussed the reason men avoid love? And wait, what if the tables were turned? What if men came with their own laundry list of demands? Hey, I'll pay your rent if you agree to cook, clean, take care of me every night, and pick up after me. Fair trade or fantasy land? So, what's really going on here? Is our viral sensation onto something by being upfront about her needs? You see, for years, women have faced the challenge of balancing certain expectations with personal desires. Maybe this is about taking control and shattering the mystery that often surrounds dating. Let's discuss the power in being direct. She's clearly stating what she wants. She's cutting through the guessing games and avoiding potential misunderstandings down the line. You can't ever say you don't know what she's thinking. No one can accuse her of hidden agendas, even everything's laid out from the start. This kind of transparency sounds like it could be empowering, setting a precedent for honesty in relationships. But here's the flip side. Is it fair to expect someone else to shoulder these financial responsibilities right out the gate? Shouldn't relationships be more about mutual support and less about financial transactions? When does expressing needs cross the line into expecting a free ride? It's a balancing act, right? On one hand, being open about expectations can help weed out incompatible matches early on. On the other hand, it risks reducing relationships to a checklist of material demands. You may not want that type of relationship. And let's face it, the societal backdrop is shifting. Since traditionally women have been cast as some kind of caregivers of such, they've often been putting their needs last. So this shift could be seen as reclaiming space in a certain independence. but it also raises questions about dependency versus partnership. Are we redefining partnership, or are we setting ourselves up for disappointment? See, in a world where dating apps have turned love into a marketplace, perhaps this is just a new way to navigate that space. Or maybe it's a call to reevaluate what we truly seek in a partner. This digital dating landscape, it's essential to reflect on what truly matters in relationships. Are we looking for someone who complements our lifestyle, or are we seeking a partner who challenges us and helps us grow? This shift towards financial transparency might be an opportunity to align our relationships with our values and long-term goals. It also raises the question of authenticity. Are these financial disclosures a genuine expression of needs, or are they sometimes used as a filter to assess a certain lifestyle? And how do we ensure that in being transparent, we also remain open to compromise and mutual support? This discussion can extend beyond romantic relationships. It invites us to think about how we communicate our needs and expectations in all areas of life, whether it's friendships, family, or workplace dynamics. You see, the principles of honesty spans and openness are becoming increasingly relevant. So it's important that not only we think of this in what we want in relationships, but with what we want and have in our own lives. So as we think about these questions, it's essential to remember that there's no one-way approach to relationships. It means what works for one person may not work for another, and that's perfectly fine. The key is finding what feels right for you and your partner. Cultivating a relationship built on shared understanding and respect is important. So as we explore these modern dating dynamics, let's stay curious and open-minded. Let's embrace the changes and challenges and continue to seek connections that enrich our lives in meaningful ways. After all, love is as much about the journey as it is about finding the right destination. So that leads us to, let's break it down into 3 key takeaways for you. Regardless of whether you choose to embrace transparency in dating or prefer a more traditional approach. First, know your values. Understand what's important to you in a relationship, whether it's financial stability, emotional support, or shared interests. Having a clear sense of your values will guide you in finding a partner who aligns with your life goals. And then secondly, communicate clearly. Whether or not you decide to lay your cards out on the table financially, being open about your expectations and boundaries is crucial. So clear communication helps avoid misunderstandings and builds a foundation of trust and respect. And finally, stay true to yourself. Remember, there's no one right way to date. What works for others might not work for you, and that's okay. Stay authentic to who you are and what you seek in a partner, and don't feel pressured to conform to trends that don't resonate with you. Be you, and don't gear away from that. So what do you think? Is this type of honesty liberating or limiting? Are we challenging traditional roles, or are we just adding another layer of complexity to dating? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Slide into my DMs or comment on Facebook or YouTube, and let's keep this conversation going. Thanks for tuning into this episode of Deep Roots, Open Skies. Remember, every swipe has a story, and every story is worth a listen. Until next time, keep your roots deep and your skies open. And hey, maybe double check your dating profile while you're at it. Catch you later. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Deep Roots, Open Skies. Until next time, embrace your journey and keep exploring the possibilities.